Hi everyone, so today's video is going to be a disappointing products video. Don't be too shocked if you see some things that you like, because some of them it's just part of one aspect of them that I don't like, or another ones it might be the whole thing. That's just my opinion. I'll give a good reason for everything. If you disagree with me, feel free to tell me, but these are just things that I don't really like, or I have issues with some parts of it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with something I've mentioned before, is the Collection 2000 French White nail polish and the Malvala White nail polish. I think there's an issue with white polishes in general, with formulating a white polish, and very few brands are able to produce a good one. But these are typical of a polish which isn't, which has issues. It's normally that they're too thick. They're very chalky, and they take ages to dry, absolutely ages. They look really Tipp-Exy and they're going really streaky, and they're just really difficult to work with, both of them. And I've kept them because they are actually perfectly fine for doing dotting when you're using a dotting tool. That's why I've kept them, and actually the slightly thicker texture kind of helps with that, but still the drying time's an issue. And I did try and paint my nails white a few times to do nail art with a white base, and I've never been able to do it. I know a lot of YouTubers do. I don't know what polish they use. I think it might be an OPI one that's meant to be quite good. But both of these ones, if you're planning on doing the white nail varnish look where it's white all over, I wouldn't recommend either of these. I've also got the Maybelline one. That one isn't too bad actually. It's a much thinner, and it's not that opaque. You need more coats. But to be honest, I think that actually helps with white polish, it being a bit thinner, and doing several thin coats rather than doing like one thick coat or two thick coats. So, and this one I've had for a really long time, and I've always had issues with that. Probably the most controversial thing you probably see here is the Revlon lip butters, and this is in macaroon. I actually really like the Revlon lip butters. There's nothing wrong with the product. Well, no, there is one thing wrong with the product, and as you can see this looks pretty messed up, and it's that the lipsticks snap. And this isn't the first one of mine that snapped. I've got 3 that have snapped now. And I've only got 6 lipsticks, and as you can see it's kind of turned round, and then it fell in the bottom, and then it's got just lipstick everywhere. It doesn't turn up anymore, or it does a tiny bit, but then it won't go back down. This isn't a very good demo, but basically it snapped in here and it's just kind of sat in the tube, and see, it hasn't gone back down properly. This bit, which is the high point, is meant to be over here, and it just causes difficulty. I'll use this in the house, but it's not really okay to take out in my handbag anymore, unfortunately, and it's going to end up with like a round nubbin end, which isn't very good when you're trying to go around your lip line. So I think it's because the lipsticks are so soft and moisturising, that's why it does that. But I just think it's a pity, because I really like these lipsticks, and I don't want to think that if I have them for 6 months or so they're going to snap and I'm going to have to keep buying a new one when they're only like halfway down. So hopefully not all of mine will do that, or I'll figure out a way of rescuing them. I think they're going to be too soft to do the melting trick where you melt the end and stick it back on, because I just think it's going to be too soft for that, and it's not really going to help. Okay, the next thing is from Pixi, and it's the Succulent Lip Twin. So on the very end you get this like firm lipstick, and it's quite pigmented, and it's quite matte once it dries down on your lips. And then you also get a gloss that comes with it. This bit on the end I think is quite nice. It's the gloss. And I've had this for quite a long time, and the consistency of the gloss always seems to be different every time I squeeze it out. Sometimes it's really runny, sometimes it's really thick and quite strong, but all the time it's a proper gloopy gloss that doesn't stain your lip line. And let me see if I can get it. You see there, it's like 2 textures. There's a thick bit and like a clear runny bit, and then trying to mix that on your lips together and trying to get it to look nice is just really difficult. It just doesn't work. And to be honest, I think it would have been better off doing the lipsticks in a in a stick, or doing the gloss with a wand would have been better. I don't know what it is about the tube, but it's been like that ever since I got it, where it's split. I think when it's spread out it looks okay, but it's just really gloopy and nasty. It's not a fan of that. The next thing is the Botanics Eye Roll-On, and this is the only skincare I've got in this. Normally if there's something that doesn't really suit me, I normally either pass it on to a friend, or I'll figure out like a way of using it, because my skin's combination, in the summer it tends to be oilier and in the winter it tends to be drier, so quite often if something doesn't suit me now, if I just wait a bit it'll be fine later on. But I got this from Boots Botanics. I've got some of the things from this range that one thing I really like, one thing I'm kind of on the fence about, and then this which I really don't like. When I first got it I did like it. It's a gel roll-on and it's a brightening eye cream, and you kind of squeeze a bit out around the ball and then you roll it onto your eye. But I found that after I've been using this for about 3 weeks, a month or so, then my eyes were looking really red, and the skin was looking a bit sore, and actually my really, really fine wrinkles around my eyes, and there's not many, were just looking a lot worse. My eyes were looking dry all the time. I'd gone from having like eyes and really, really fine wrinkles that were barely noticeable to I thought I'd looked in the mirror a couple of mornings, I thought I'm looking old. And this has AHA, so it's alpha hydroxy acid in it, and it's meant to be brightening. I do use the toner from the same range which has the same ingredient in, but I don't put that around my eyes, and I thought if I were just putting this around my eyes on a night only, that would be fine and it wouldn't irritate it, but it definitely didn't. I think part of the fact is this plastic edge by the ball is actually quite scratchy as well. But I just found that over time it irritated my eyes, because my eyes were irritated all the time. The skin was being dry and sore, and I think it's more like dehydration wrinkles rather than like set-in ones. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed by that, and because it didn't show up straight away, it took a little while to become apparent. But then I suppose I wasn't using what can I say? When I was using this all the time and I wasn't using any other eye cream to give it a break, it became more apparent. So that was a bit disappointing. And then I've got two brushes. Then I've got some more mainly makeup things. Both of these are kabuki brushes. I like to use a kabuki brush to put on my powder after I put on my foundation. And this one's worse than this one, but they're both disappointing for the same reason, is that they shed all the time. This one I got a really long time ago. Not really, really long, but probably getting on for 4 years ago. And I got it from John Lewis, and it cost me about £10 or £12, so it wasn't a cheap brush by any means. But it's really quite scratchy for starters, but I could get over that because it's just powder, it doesn't matter that much. But it has shed from the day I bought it until now. Every time I use it, it sheds. I think it is a natural hair one. I mean, it does get washed regularly, but I always make sure I don't get water in the barrel. But it just sheds all the time, and I was just a bit sick of it. And then when we got in the British Beauty Blogger box, we got the Lola Book Kabuki brush. This one's much nicer, it's much softer, much nicer to put on your face, but again, it sheds all the time. And I'm a bit sick of having to pick hairs off my face every time I do my makeup. So if anyone could recommend me a kabuki brush for around the £10 mark or less, that doesn't shed all over your face, and that is quite small and compact like these, I mean, I might just go and get the Real Techniques Travel Kabuki brush, or the Travel Bronzer brush. I'm sure they'd be fine. But that would be great. Actually, they do have a kabuki brush as well. I probably will just get the Real Techniques one, but if anybody does know a reasonably priced kabuki brush that's quite soft and good for putting on powder, that doesn't shed, and as you can really just see on the edge of this hair that's coming out, and that's what it's just like. They just kind of poke out and then they just stick on your face. That would be great. Alright, so I'll go on to the makeup products now. So there's quite a lot of eye products here and a couple of lip products. First one is the Miss Manga mascara. This was actually mine. I've tried this a few times and I just cannot get it to work because it's got this bendy wand. There's no way to scrape the excess product off, and as you can see, it's absolutely caked up with mascara. I mean, I think the shape of the wand looks alright, but the bristles are quite sparse. I think the point of this was to do that very kind of spidery manga cartoon eyelashes where they've only got 3 or 4, but to be honest, I didn't think that most people liked that look. It's very hit and miss, this mascara. Half of people seem to really, really like it and half people seem to really, really hate it. I'm definitely in the hate camp, and every time I've put this on, I've tried it like about 4 times now, I've just put it on and taken it straight back off again. It just looks awful. Really, really awful, really clumpy. But I'm really not a fan of clumpy mascara. I much prefer the kind of lengthening, curling mascaras rather than a volumizing mascara. They just say mega volume, so I should have known what I was getting. But I think the main issue is the bendy brush. If there wasn't the bendy brush and it just had a straight brush, I could have worked with it. I could have scraped off the excess and I probably could have done something with it. But because I can't scrape it off, and I'm never going to be able to scrape it off, it just doesn't work for me. The next thing is another mascara. In fact, there's quite a few mascaras in here. And this is from Essential Care. This mascara is, I think it's an organic mascara or a mineral mascara. It's got quite a fluffy brush. Strangely, for mascara, it's got a slightly floral scent. This mascara actually looks really nice on. It's really, really fine, very, very natural, but it doesn't clump in the slightest. You can get a really nice look with this if you do about 4 coats. It sounds a lot, but you get this really, really fine, fluttery eyelashes that look really pretty. It looks really nice for about 20 minutes, and then it starts flaking, and it just flakes really, really badly all day, and you have these little black specks under your eye after about 20 minutes, which is unfortunate, because actually I think the look of the mascara is really nice. It does say organic actually on the end here, and I think they do it in brown as well. It's a pity, because I actually think the mascara, initially the mascara is really nice. I just wish they'd been able to come up with a formula which meant it didn't flake. But if you wanted a really natural mascara, the look of this was really good, but it's not suitable for anybody because it just ends up on your face rather than on your lashes, unfortunately. Then the last mascara is They're Real by Benefit. Again, my issue with this is that it's really clumpy and it's really wet, but if you've watched some of my other videos, you've probably noticed that I've said I actually really like it now, and that's because it's dried out. This is my sample which I've had for quite a long time, and there isn't much extra product on it. And so now I can get a really good mascara look. It's quite full-on mascara look still, but it's but it doesn't look clumpy. Again, with this, you can't scrape the brush off very well because it's a plastic brush, or you can, but I've done it a few times. The little bristles tend to ping mascara across the room all the time, and I'd rather not get my carpet full of mascara. But now this has dried out quite a lot, I like it a lot better. I did use it when it was kind of fresher a couple of times. I wiped the brush off twice and that got rid of a lot of the excess product in the tube. And then I just kind of save it for when I was going out and with it quite heavy eye look where I wanted that really big, thick eyelash look. And then more recently I thought I'd try it out again, the They're Real, and after it dried out a bit I liked it a lot better, so kind of hit and miss with that. I think it was a bit overhyped, the They're Real. It does look good, but it's not as easy to work with as other mascaras, and I've definitely got other ones I like better. But it has been pretty good recently because it just stay put. And when I've had hay fever and stuff, it meant I could rub my eyes and it wouldn't smudge all over my face, or you get away with it once or twice. Like, obviously if you properly rub it, it's going to come off. And then I've got a couple of eyeliners as well. It's mainly eye products. I think it's because you can't test them properly before you buy them. This one though is probably the product I was most disappointed with, this Bourjois eyeliner. I had the Bourjois Clubbing Black eyeliner before this, and I really liked that one, and it dried out, and I thought, oh, I'll go and get another Bourjois eyeliner because I really liked the other one. And this is supposed to be a 12-hour eyeliner with a rubber so you can rub out if you get it wrong. But I don't know if you can see that. It's really gloopy. Really rubbery, and because it's really gloopy you just cannot get a thin fine point on the brush. It just keeps going flat rather than pointed, and normally if I do this with a different eyeliner it would be in a nice fine point by this point, but it's still looking pretty gloopy. And also, if you can see that, it just kind of fades out. It's not very opaque, and it's just, there's nothing good I can say about this eyeliner at all. It's really difficult to do a nice flick with, and I can do a cut eyeliner. I've done it for years and I don't have any issues doing with it, and I find it really difficult with this. So what if you can rub it out if you do a mistake? To be honest, if you've I find if you just kind of push it down towards your lash line, if you make a mistake, it's fine anyhow. It's only if you try and push it back onto your eyelid where you're going to get a smudge. At least if you push it down, the smudging's just going to go into your eyelashes and make your eyelashes look blacker and fuller anyhow. And that's what I've always done if I made a mistake. But just there's nothing good to say about it really. It's a faff. The rubber part doesn't really even work that well. You've got to wait until it's completely dry, which takes quite a while, by which point you're probably going to want to be out the door, and also it kind of takes your makeup off with it. That's why you see this is maybe a tiny bit like foundation coloured on the end. Just not good. Not a good product at all. And then another eyeliner is the Illamasqua eyeliner in Glister. I think the issue that is with this is that I've got a bad batch. I got it in a sort of box set of Illamasqua stuff a long time ago, but every time I've used this it's always sticky. It doesn't seem to dry down properly, it just seems to stay sticky, which is unfortunate because even though it's a nude colour, you see, I actually quite like it. It's really nice if you're doing a really bold lip, and if you just line behind your eyelashes with this, and it's kind of a nude with a really fine iridescent shimmer, and then with lots of black mascara, and it just kind of brings a little bit of light to your eyes, but without being without making them focus, and you can leave your lips to be the focus, or you could use it in the inner corner or something like that. But it just seems to stay sticky, and sticky to the point that it actually sticks your eyelid open, which is really horrible. It's worse if you've got a base with SPF in underneath, but I've just never seemed to manage to get this to work without being sticky, even if I've put powder on top of it. And I've gone and swatched it in the shop, the same one, and it doesn't dry sticky. So I don't understand what's wrong with mine. It says it's waterproof. But yeah, I don't know. It's really disappointing because I actually really like the colour. Okay, and the last two things are the Balance Me Hydrating Rose Otto Shea Butter Lip Salve. This is just, I don't know if you can see on there, it's, lovely. Yeah, it's, again, like the Pixie lip gloss, it's like got two different textures inside. It's got a thick texture which feels quite gritty, and a thin texture which is kind of oily. It feels like Vaseline, which I don't really enjoy. And Balance Me normally makes pretty good stuff, so I'm surprised they made this, which is actually really quite shocking. It smells nice enough, but it really doesn't do a very good job of moisturising your lips, and as you've seen, it just makes a mess, so not impressed with that. And then the final thing is the Apocalypse Lip Lacquer from Rimmel. I know quite a lot of people like these, but I'm really not a fan. It's like a liquid lipstick type thing, and these were really hyped when they first came out. And one of the problems I have with this is this kind of well which is inside the doe foot wand, which means you can't get a thin layer of product. It kind of stores in there, and I think it applies too much, especially if you just want to carefully do a little bit at a time. They are really pigmented, but they don't dry down at all, so it stays in the same liquidy consistency that it is in the jar on your lips the whole time, so it just spreads outside your lip line and goes in your teeth, and I just don't like it. But I find it spreads outside your lip line really badly. A part of that is my bottom lip is quite a bit fuller than my top lip, and my top lip on my Cupid's bow is very pointed, so if I kind of press my lips together, it kind of fills in the gap in my Cupid's bow and kind of goes outside the line of my top lip very easily. But still, again, it goes in your teeth. Even if you try and wipe off the inside of your mouth, it still goes in your teeth. It just kind of gets everywhere. Every time I've tried to wear it, it just gets everywhere, and you look a mess after about an hour. So yeah, don't like that either. And that's it. Tell me what your most disappointing products are. Tell me if you disagree with me on anything. I hope you don't mind having a slightly negative video. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to have that much stuff, and then I kind of had a rummage around everywhere and I found loads more things I didn't like. But that's it. I'm not going to be having another one for a while, so thank you very much, everybody. Hope that wasn't too much of a downer for you. Have a good evening. Bye.